Now moving to another story coming from the Guardian newspaper, we have Labour waits into federal government ASU rift as strike ground facilities nationwide. Now to the detail of this particular story. Academic activities were halted across several Nigerian universities yesterday as the 2 week warning strike declared by the Academic Staff Union of Universities took effect. Among affected institutions are the Federal University, the State, Gawa State, the University of Jos, Plateau State, the University of Benin, Edo State, the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, UNN, the Federal University of Oye Ekiti, Foye, and others include the University of Abuja, Uni Abuja, University of Maiduguri, and Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. At Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi State, examination had already been concluded, although some final year students were reportedly awaiting their final defense. Students at the University of Ibadan, University of Lagos, Unilag, and the Bayero University, Kano State, were seen packing up to leave campuses, expressing fear that the strike could extend beyond the initial 2 week period. ASU members embarked on the strike to protest the non-conclusion of the negotiation 2009 federal government ASU agreement and the non-payment of their withheld 3.5 month salaries. The union is also demanding payment of outstanding 35% salaries, arrears settlement of promotion arrears spanning over 4 years, and release of withheld cooperative contribution deduction, among other issues. Meanwhile, the federal government yesterday directed the Vice Chancellor of federal institution to enforce no work no pay policy to lecturers participating in the industrial action. The directive was contained in a circular signed by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, distributed to key education stakeholders, including the head of civil service of the Federation, Pro-Chancellor of Federal University of the National Universities Commission, NUC. In documents, the government expressed disappointment over ASU's decision to embark on strike, despite ongoing engagement efforts, warning that it would no longer tolerate disruption to the academic calendar. For detail of the story, see the Guardian newspaper with the headline, Labour waits into federal government ASU rift as strike ground facilities nationwide. And if you're just joining, you're on to Power 102.7 FM, Emurele or Ondo State. In the papers, there is the program coming through your air from the studio of Power. This is the program where we review, preview, and read stories from different newspapers in Nigeria. You can connect with us via our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok on Power 1027 FM, Power 1027 FM. While on X, formerly known as Twitter, you can connect with us as well on Power 1027, Power 1027. You can also reach us to us on our studio line to connect with us to share your perspective, your opinion on the program on 081 65 524699, 081 65 524699. Moving on with the story coming from the Guardian newspaper as well, we have National Assembly proposes November 2026 date for 2027 general election. Well, now to the detail of the story. Nigerians' electoral timetable is set for the major shake-up as the National Assembly proposes that the 2027 presidential and governorship election be held in November 2026, 6 months before the end of the current administration tenure. The move, which form part of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2025, aims to allow all election litigation to be concluded before the May 2029-2027 swearing in of a new leader, ending the tradition of pending court cases dragging into new government tenure. The draft amendment was unveiled on Monday during the public hearing jointly organized by the Senate and House Committee on Monday. I think we have a call. I think we have a call. I think we lost that. Taking story from The Guardian newspaper talking about the draft amendment was unveiled on Monday during the public hearing jointly organized by the Senate House Committee on Electoral Matters in Abuja, drawing wide interest from politicians, civil society, and the Independent National Electoral Commission under the proposed amendment. Election in the office of President and Governors had not been held not later than 185 days before the expiration of the incumbent tenure. The calculation pointed directly to November 2026 as the new poll date, 3 months earlier than the traditional February or March election window. Section 4 to 7 of the draft read, and I quote, "Election into the office of the President and Governor of the state shall be held not later than 185 days before the expiration of the term of office of the last holders of the office." A similar provision applies to elections into the national and the state assemblies, assuring that a harmonized electoral schedule across federation. Chairman of the House Committee on Electoral Matters, Honorable Adebayo Balogun, explained that the reform is targeted at ensuring all disputes arising from the polls are settled before the winners take office. He said, and I quote, "We are proposing that all tribunal judgments be concluded between or within 90 days, appeal between 60 days, and Supreme Court decision within the remaining days, ensuring everything is wrapped up within 185 days." To support the reform, the National Assembly will also amend Section 285 and 139 of the 1999 Constitution, which currently govern election dispute timeline. And if you are just joining, you are listening to In the Papers, the newspaper review program on iPower 102.7 FM, Emorele, Owo, Ondo State. You can also join us on our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok on iPower 1027 FM. You can also reach out to us on X, formerly known as Twitter, on iPower 1027. You can also call us to share your perspective, your opinion on the program on 081 65 524 081 65 524 You can also send a message through WhatsApp on 081 65 524 Moving on with another story coming from the Guardian newspaper, we have the European Union strengthening partnership with 320 billion naira agricultural credit support to Nigeria. Now to the detail of the story. The European Union Development Cooperation with Nigeria has been strengthened with a 320.5 billion naira euro credited line allocated to Nigerian commercial banks and financial institutions to broaden their lending to the agricultural sector. The facility, which is being provided by the European Investment Bank, was announced at a meeting of the bank's senior executive and delegation from the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning on the sideline of the recently concluded Global Gateway Forum in Brussels, Belgium, expressing the EU commitment to support Nigeria's ambition and initiative for digital transformation, given its potential to catalyze growth in other sectors of the economy. The bank's directive, Ms. Terry Tricky, said the credit facility was part of the EU's commitment to the development of Nigeria's agricultural value chain, particularly in cocoa and dairy. The Nigerian delegation, including the special assistant to the minister, Mr. Bolaji Onolaja, and the vocal officer, EU unit, Mr. Benjamin Galadima, highlighted the ongoing reform under the Renew Hope agenda of the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the forthcoming National Development Plan 2026 to 2030 as a framework for the attracting sustainable investment and strengthening community level development through the World-Based Development Program. The Nigerian team also engaged in a series of high-level sessions and conducted bilateral meetings with key EU institutions, including officials from the Director of International Partnership (NTPA) and the European Bank of the Reconstruction, among others. For detail of this particular story, see the Guardian newspaper with the headline EU Nigeria threatened partnership with 320.5 billion naira agricultural credit support. And with that, we've come to the end of today's edition of In the Papers. We've taken you through various newspapers in Nigeria. We've taken you through the Up newspaper, the Punch newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, the Nation newspaper, and the Tribune newspaper. We started strong from the Up newspaper, where we brought to you that Ondo 2014 retirees received 1.4 billion gratuities amid emotions. Then we move swiftly to the Punch newspaper, where we brought to you that Sanwo-Olu Uzodinma advocates constitutional role for monarchs. And from there we move swiftly to the Punch newspaper as well, where we brought to you a story from Ekiti State. Oyebanji pays 2 billion naira gratuities to 800 retirees. And then from there we move swiftly to ASU strike. We talk about ASU strike ground varsities. Federal government clamps down. And from there we move straightly to the Punch newspaper, taking a story from Abia State. We talked about Abia State. Abia set to benefit of 265 deceased workers. Campaign to Plateau State. Then we move straightly to Sokoto State, where we brought stories from the Punch newspaper that COA unveiled Green Brother project to empower Sokoto women. From then, when we move straightly to the Nation newspaper, taking story from River State, we talked about Fubara drops Danagogo, inaugurates new SSJ. Talking about the Nation newspaper, we talked about IMF seek autonomous central bank in stronger global system. On the Nation newspaper as well, we talked about Tinubu's reform courageous ex-SGF Falae declares. On the Nation newspaper as well, we've talked about how FCCPC backs central bank's 48 hours of fund for customers. On the Guardian newspaper, we talked about EU Nigerian threatened partnership with 320.5 billion naira agricultural credit support. On the Guardian newspaper as well, we talked about National Assembly proposes November 2026 date for 2027 general election. We also take story from the Guardian newspaper, where we talked about how Labour waits into federal government ASU rift as strike ground facilities nationwide.